our first video of this semester for the, real content. Yeah. Part A of Module 1, Benefits of a Container. Part 8.1, High-Level Understanding on Container. In this module, we will learn a very important, very fundamental concept, container. Because this concept is very abstract. To understand it well, I like to use 2 levels to understand it. This video, we understand from the high level, abstract level, So you may not get a lot of details. We just try to understand the reason behind it. Then from the next video, we will use several examples so we get a low-level understanding, so we get hands-on experience on it. Hopefully we can understand better. Yeah. All right, so let's start. First, let's look at this basic problem, efficient software development. Yeah. Because for the software development, people always try to, using different methods, different approaches, ideas, try to make the software development more efficient, more robust. The reason is very simple, because software development is so expensive, using a lot of manpower, and especially, very difficult overall. Yeah. So for that reason, so a lot of new methods, clever ideas developed. Okay. All right. So here, I like to start with a simple observation. Software runtime environments. Yeah. So you can see, first, you have, operating system, right? So that's the largest software in runtime environment, the largest. But here, I don't want to talk about operating system. Here, I will talk about a little smaller software runtime environment, smaller than operating system, but still, it is pretty big. Yeah. So what's that? It is programming language level runtime systems. Think about each programming language, you need some special runtime environment, right? Any programming language needs a special, that programming language specific runtime environment. Here I like to use the Java as the example, because this course is a Java course. So we just use Java language here. In Java, I think you know this JRE, right? JRE, Java Runtime Environment. You know it, okay? JRE, okay? Yeah. All your compiled Java programs can run in that environment. Okay, JRE, yeah. All right, so here, just look at this picture. Yeah. So you get a, general overview. Yeah. Here, JVM, Java Virtual Machine. Yeah. All right, so a lot of things inside it, but I do not want to get into too much details in JRE. Yeah. I just want to get started with this JRE. It is a special type of software runtime environment. All right, but what does it do? We want to know what this runtime environment can do for us. Okay, yeah. Basically, this runtime environment managing low-level features. What kind of low-level features? Here, let me give you some examples. Yeah. Stack, heap, so inside memory, so functions, implemented recursive functions, So you need to use stack, right? Yeah. But here I don't want to get to the operating system details too much. Yeah. So we just know something is done there. Okay? Yeah. Garbage collection, right? Memory in order to release occupied memory to make the programs run faster. So a special garbage collection is used. Threads, multi-threading, right? Yeah. So also, when you need to do a lot of things, right, from one process, but you need to provide services for many users. So you need many threads generated from this process, okay? Etc. A lot of other things. But here, I just want to point out all these things are low-level features. What do you mean low-level features? First, generic regarding the business, right? So you can see all these things have nothing to do with your business, right? Although your business, your Java programs can use all these things, but still not quite directly helpful to your business. The business here, what I mean, for your special type of business, you may need some special features, but here, generic features. These things are not special features, special business-oriented features. These things are generic, provide basic features, ground level, fundamental features for all Java programmers. But for high-level features, these things cannot do, so you need to get help from other software tools. So that's the first thing we observed from this JRE. So next, the question, is there any special runtime environment that supports high-level features? Yeah. Many, large number of them. Yeah. So we want to understand those high-level features, those special runtime environments supporting high-level features. Yeah. Example, here. So what kind of high-level features? I want to, give you some general, simple example here. Yeah. All right. Switch a Java implementation class without changing the Java code. Yeah. So here you can see we need to do something specific. Things like this, high-level features. Okay? All right. So the solution for this problem, very simple. Specific technology level runtime system. Here, let me show you a picture. Yeah. So this one, another runtime environment, but much smaller. Okay, so not very general, very specific. Yeah. Here I use the Spring Framework runtime. Spring Framework. So in this class, our main topic, Spring Framework. So I introduce this framework in this way. Yeah. So you can see this environment contains many technology blocks. So it can do a lot of things. Yeah. Yeah. All right. But this is only for the Spring Framework. Okay. This specific technology. For other technologies, so it cannot do anything for other technologies. So different technologies have their own runtime environments. Okay, yeah. So that's the first thing we want to know from the first slide. Second, we want to look at the features provided by these runtime environments or systems. Yeah. the same thing. Yeah. So what we need from this system, several general things. Here I just talk about them in an abstract level. Yeah. First, the basic things they can do: manage resources for the applications. Manage resources. From this description, you can see it is pretty much like operating system, right? Operating system managing resources used by your computer. Yeah. But here it is a reduced, small, size operating system. Okay? Yeah. So managing resources for your applications using this particular technology. Okay? Yeah. And because these resources require some special features, the general OS cannot handle those special features because general OS does not know anything about your technology. So it cannot do anything, right? Yeah. So your special runtime environment knows how to do different things for your technology. Okay. Yeah. Less overhead. Yeah. Because it knows everything about your technology, so it can make things run more efficient, reduce overhead. So when you do multiple things, those different processes can share same resource. Those different programs can share the same resource. In that way, reduce the overhead. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Here, in software development, overhead part consumes a lot of resource. So if you can find a way to reduce the overhead, you can save a lot of computation resource. Yeah. All right, so that's the overhead part. All right, yeah. So this picture is something like just the performance analysis. Right? In the performance analysis, overhead part is also part of the, resource consumption part. Yeah. Then greater efficiency. Yeah. So it tried to do a lot of things in a more efficient way. Yeah. So here we use the general description, but detail how to make things more efficient. So many different aspects related to the technology. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so about efficiency. Yeah. So it's always the most common topic in software improvement. Yeah, we always try to improve the efficiency. Okay. All right. Better application development. Yeah. So this point, because usually when we develop a complicated application, when we do that, in a general level, we need to put all the resources together, right? So a very complicated application requires a lot of resources, and we need to connect them in a special way, right? Yeah. When you do that, usually it is very time consuming. If you put different software components together, we call it wiring. Yeah. We do wiring on software components, so not hardware components. Yeah, because this terminology comes from hardware experience, wiring different devices, right, to assemble some special equipment. Yeah. But here, in software development, we have the similar situation. We also do wiring, but we wire software components. Okay? So each program we can treat as a component. Yeah. Many different programs, they work together in a very complicated way. And we need to, do something to guide them, communicate in the right way. So that's the wiring. In our development, we need to do that, right? Because it is so complicated. So this kind of runtime environment can help us make that part easier. So that's the meaning of this better application development. Okay? Yeah, because there is a wiring. Yeah. Wiring. Right. Wiring. Yeah. All right. Wiring. Yeah. All right. Later, we will get better understanding on this wiring topic. We will do that. Wiring things. Okay? Yeah. All right. Increase the portability. Your application needs to be moved to different machines, different locations, different servers, different operating systems. Okay? Yeah. So when you move, you may worry about, so if your application can run the same way as it is developed, right? You may think about that. Yeah. Don't worry if you just have the same runtime environment. Okay? So for different operating system, different machine, they should have their own version of runtime environment. Right? Java, JRE. In Mac, in Linux, in different machines, they have their own version of runtime environment. Right? Yeah. Windows version, Mac version, Linux version, they're all different. But you never worry, right? So your Java code, so you run in Windows machine, Mac machines, Linux machines, you never worry, right? So here we have the same situation. We develop a special application. So we run different OS, different machine, right? Yeah. So we have this kind of behavior, but when we move to other environments, we expect the same thing. Yeah. Because we are confident in this runtime environment. Okay? Yeah. All right. Portability. More consistent operations. So all these things are closely related. Yeah. So consistent operations. So when we go everywhere, we do the same thing. Yeah. Consistent operations. Yeah. All right. So next, this runtime environment we call a container. Container. Here. Original meaning container, so it can hold a lot of things. Here, what do we use? In this container, we use it to hold software components. Okay? Specifically for some particular technology. Okay? Some particular technology. So, yeah. So that's the container. Okay? Yeah. Although actually in Java, the container, this concept has different meanings. Right? Yeah. So you may connect to different meaning. Yeah. In Java desktop program, you have a container, right? Yeah. Some component we call a container because we can put many other GUI components inside that. So that's one container meaning. Another container meaning in Java, some special classes or interfaces we call a container. Yeah. For example, list, map, these objects, we call containers because they can hold many other objects. So that's another container meaning. Okay? But this one has different meaning. Different meaning. Okay? Yeah. Local software runtime environment. Yeah. So the reason I say local because it's not like operating system, it's global, or it's not like JRE. Yeah. So it's a smaller level with respect to programming language. It's global, right? Yeah. With respect to Java programming language, it's global. But this one only related to one special technology, Spring Framework. We're talking about that Spring Framework. All right, so that's the container. Each container is responsible for a specific technology. Okay? So one container corresponds to one special technology. But sometimes you may like to use multiple technologies, different technologies. In that situation, you can use multiple containers. So the next point, multiple technologies can be used simultaneously because they all run inside JVM, Java Virtual Machine, Java Runtime Environment. Work together, different containers. Right? That's very common. In one application we develop, we use multiple technologies, multiple containers, and they can communicate. Don't worry, they can communicate each other. All right, so this is our first video related to the real content. And we get a high-level abstract understanding of this container concept. All right, so let me stop here.